grateful thinking even after Thanksgiving. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. I'm here to introduce you to the host of the Futurist Mindset Show. That is Reagan Rodriguez. Reagan is a futurist who teaches stratosphere wealthy legacy families how to become impact investors. Hi, Reagan. How are you?
I am doing better than I deserve. How about yourself?
Uh, same. I'm definitely doing better than I deserve, and I'm very thankful, which is obviously what we're talking about, being grateful and
Well,
thankful at this time of year. But I think you have something even better for us.
yeah. As you know, Tess, I think you know I'm traveling 'cause it's Thanksgiving, and for those of you that are watching this, we are pre-recording before Thanksgiving, and then this will go live on Friday. So when Tessa did say to me before we hit the record button, she even asked, "By the way, what's the title?" And I said, "Let me think on that." And I'm throwing all these things, these ideas, and I said, "I know that that's not a good one, but I'm just talking out loud." And then Tessa said, "What about this?" And then Tessa said, "What if even better?" I said, "That's even better." So
Even
Tessa
after
came up with the
Thanksgiving.
title. Not I can't take the credit.
Oh,
Like
you
you
do.
take the credit for what I'm going to be talking about. So why don't we do this? I'm going to get started. And then if you have any questions, any comments that either you might have or you think our audience might have, then I'll kind of uncover those or go over them. Okay?
Perfect.
Makes sense?
Yes.
So what does it take to create, grow, and scale a fund, and specifically a cafe fund? But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. That is called patience, and that is part of the process. The process that you need to have when you're creating and scaling your cafe fund or acquiring a new business. These factors lead to what I describe as flawed thoughts, flawed assumptions that we carry around with us. Let me begin with some of the basic to some that are maybe a little bit more complex. And these are flawed assumptions that impact the growth of your business, the profitability of your fund, and your ability to scale your fund. Aging is not a choice. In South Florida, it's very popular to say that 60 is the new 40. No, guys. 60 is not the new 40. Okay, when you're 60, you're 60. When you're 70, you're 70. That's what it means. 8 glasses of water a day make you healthy. There is no proof, there is no science or evidence of that, but we feel healthier. By the way, I drink about 7 to 8 glasses a day, and I also spend a lot of time going to the bathroom. It filters through you, right? We as individuals want the best for ourselves, Tessa, and those we love and care about. But somehow, for some reason, we also believe that others that we don't know and maybe we don't care about, that they should be satisfied with less than what we should be satisfied with. I'm going to repeat that. I think I should repeat that one again. We all want the best for ourselves, our families, and those we care about. But somehow we believe that others that we may not know, that we may not care about, should be satisfied with less than what we should be satisfied with. Last one, the 5 second drop. You might be familiar with that in regards to 5 second, in regards to food drop. They
Yes.
say that if you drop it on the floor, a piece of bread or fruit, you pick it up within 5 seconds. No. Okay, that's flawed thinking. Also, in the same vein, Tessa moves to another level. When we talk about flawed assumptions, flawed thoughts, flawed cognition, have you ever had contact with people that when faced with an issue, the approach was either all or nothing, right?
Mhm.
The answer is either black or it's white, and there's nothing in between. That gets you nowhere. Catastrophizing. This is the worst thing that has ever happened in the history of all mankind. You ever met people like that? That's called personalization. Personalization is where every situation is personalized. I've done that before. I did that the other day. Why? Because my attitude was that my problem and my needs are the focal point of the universe, and they're not. Sometimes, if you spend thinking about other people other than yourself, you would find that all these feelings do not manifest themselves. So I say personalization. The other is reaching conclusions on insufficient data. You don't have all the information, yet you form a conclusion. In our industry of project funding and hedge fund management, and even with acquisitions, it's not really liars that we have to look out for. It's people that may not be right, but they're certain about it. Those are the ones that you have to pay attention to. They reach conclusions from insufficient data. In other words, they communicate with such certainty as if what they had to say was carved in stone somewhere. I had some disappointments with an oil and gas project back in 2016. And since then, I've been fascinated with the way thoughts influence our behavior. And some are irrational ideas that are prominent in America, and they do impact your behavior. There is this idea that there is this dire necessity for an adult human being to be loved or approved by virtually every person in their community. People spend their time seeking the love and the approval of everybody in their environment. The second is getting upset when things aren't going the way we think that things ought to be going. Another is the idea of human unhappiness is actually externally caused, and that people have little or no ability to control their sorrow. That people have little or no ability to control that disturbance. Stress is simply a loss of control. Our stress level goes up the more we feel a loss of control. And trauma will change us. And we will be changed by trauma, and the effects of trauma will occur. So we have to be aware of that. But our goal is to integrate what's going on in our lives, whether it's a pandemic or another curve that life sends our way. The positive thing, though, Tessa, whenever there's trauma, resilience is often a common response to that trauma. Now, I don't want to appear dismissive to regards to all the whatever people are experiencing, financial crisis, illness. I did not say that you are going to kind of wish those things away. What I am saying is that in terms of managing ourselves, we have to look at how we are going to function, how we are going to manage our thoughts, so that then we can manage our lives. One way is by slowing down. Slow down yourself, not because it's imposed from the outside. Slow down yourself, even if it means taking a few minutes to just breathe. I had shared this with you a couple of years ago, Tessa, that I had a friend that was a bit discouraged. And I had asked him to list several positives about himself, but they cannot have anything to do with money. And he asked me, "What did you say? What? I can't do that. There's no way." And I said, yes, you can. I want you to list things that you are grateful for. And I want you to list positives about yourself that have nothing to do with money. And he had trouble doing that. Let's think about the positives, guys. We find it so easy to deal with the negatives. Let's give the positives equal time. The other thing that I told this friend of mine is to be good to yourself in terms of behavior. I tell you that too, Tessa, right? Being in Miami, what I have found living in Miami is what I found one of the underreported forms of neurosis is self-hate. How do you hate yourself? Look at the behavior that people engage in. So again, this is just my opinion based on my experience that one of the most underreported forms of neurosis is self-hate. That's right. People do not like themselves and their behavior reflects it. There are certain behaviors that you do not engage in if you truly like yourself, if you value yourself. So what I am saying, on the day after Thanksgiving, as you are watching this, be kind to yourself. Be good to yourself. At some point, you got to stop with the self-blaming. Why didn't I save enough money? Why didn't I see this coming? Why wasn't I better prepared for this? Stop with the self-blaming and look at where do we go from here. And one of the things I recommend is get away with ruminating, where you spend your whole time worrying and thinking about what happened. As you know, Tessa, I like to work more in alternative energy and sustainability. But when I tried going after the big oil fracking deals in North Dakota, I had to recommend those clients of mine, and me included, to do what I refer to as thought blocking. And it requires practice and persistence. I had this client that would say, all I keep thinking about is that well that dried up, or that well that was taken by the bank. And I would say to them, set aside 30 minutes in the morning or 30 minutes in the afternoon or whatever, however you want to do it. You are going to spend dissecting and thinking about this for 30 minutes. But guess what? When that 30 minutes is up, that's it. I'm dealing with other things. And then in the afternoon, if you feel so inclined, you got another 30 minutes in you, go ahead and ruminate about this thing. But when that 30 is up, that's it. Okay? We're not thinking about this anymore. And related to this is you have to be willing to face your fears. What is it that you're afraid of? It's like people that I know that spend 10 to 12 hours a week at the gym. What is it that you're really afraid of? I know a guy that literally does that, and he thinks he's going to live longer. That's ridiculous. There are athletes that die at an early age. I told him, you need to face your fears. And in doing so, you're going to come to a point where you're going to decide what's your purpose and what matters. What is your purpose if you're watching this? What is your why? Why are you doing this, whatever this is? And why are you engaged with that, whatever that is? And how is it going to make you feel? What am I going to do? I call this counterfactual thinking. And that's the notion that whatever it is that we are facing could always be worse. There could always be something worse. Whatever it is that we are confronting could be worse. So how are we going to maintain our positive thoughts? When you look around, you know what I have found is that individuals that are absorbed with material possessions, let me say that different. Let me say that in a different way. The time when people are most preoccupied with the acquisition of material possessions is the time when they feel less worthy, less valued, and less loved. When we talk about management of ourselves, that's one way of addressing that component. It's about managing our faults, our thoughts. We carry that equipment with us. So how are we going to manage it? It's practice, because nobody focuses on this in school. We have to kind of pick it up at some point in some way. But being able to manage our thoughts, that's hope. That's our hope for the future, for moving forward. Because if you can't manage your thoughts, then you really can't manage your life. And if you can't manage your life, there really isn't much there, is there? So let me close with this. After today, we are not going to just think about things, but instead, we're going to think about things in a different way than what you have done before. I think that's it. I do want to hear from you. If you have any questions, anything you want to ask me.
Oh, and actually, I mean, you did a great job going through everything. I know you mentioned thought blocking, and that was the time period, like giving yourself some time to think about it and then stopping the thoughts around that idea, right? Until another time when you have the ability to keep going. Is that correct? Did I
Kind
understand
of.
that
I'm
right?
glad you
Okay.
brought that up. Let me say it a little differently. If you ever had a time when something's on your mind and it's been on your mind all day to the point that you say, did I lose focus? What did I even do today? So when you think about when I said take 30 minutes, I know you were thinking this because I have 30 minutes. I don't have time, 30 minutes. Oh, you don't have 30 minutes, but you have 10 hours or 12 hours. And then what happens when you're finished with work? In the evening, you just keep ruminating on that.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, why don't you put it in your calendar? You like worrying so much. Let's worry for 30 minutes and just give it focus, attention. You're probably not going to do 30 minutes and you're going to be like, I'm done. But if it does seem like it's going into your mind, and I'll tell you where this kind of came from. If you remember, I mentioned that one day I was taking the uh, bus kind of trolley that they have here, and I met this gal that had mentioned to me that her husband had ran off with some gal that works at Hooters. And she said, do you remember that story I told you? And
I
you were like,
remember.
oh, I feel so bad. And she says, it's all I keep thinking about. And I said, oh, okay, fine. Then instead, because she said, I can't get anything done. Well, then instead, take 15 minutes in the morning, then maybe take another 15 minutes in the afternoon. And then if you feel so inclined, take another 15 minutes. And now you won't feel like it's all you think about all day. So like I said, it just takes practice. I hope that answered that.
That is, it was great. Thank you. I'm gonna actually be practicing that because there are some things I think as we get into holiday season too, there's a lot
Sure.
more on everyone's minds throughout the holiday season. So I think this will work for anything that's stressing about money or relationships, whatever might be on your heart, because it's
You're
not worth
exactly
it.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or on your mind, as I say, what's on your mind that you're
Exactly.
wanting to get rid of that
Focus.
thought. You are going to manage our thoughts.
Yes.
What else, Tessa?
I think there was so much in this one, and I wrote down, slowing down yourself so that you can really focus on things as being an amazing point too when you're reaching conclusions from in incorrect
Insufficient data.
information, insufficient data. Just I know that you go over how people can do their due diligence on projects too. So if you haven't watched some of Reagan's older videos, definitely look through our playlist because he covers how to do the due diligence and how to look at businesses. And there's just so much information in our past shows too. But that was
I'm so glad
really
you brought that up.
big for me.
You're right. Just like there are steps that I give people of what to look for when you're going to invest in a business, the same thing. Let's have steps of what we're going to do to manage our thoughts.
Yeah, that's wonderful. But that's all I have. I don't have any additional questions today, but this has
Good.
been very helpful for me. Perfect timing, and I appreciate your advice always. Always.
Totally.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I think that's it.
Okay.
And for those of you that are watching this, no, go ahead. I
Oh
was going
no,
to
I
say,
was just going to encourage everyone to hit the bell so that they can get notifications when you go live, which is on Fridays at noon Eastern time. But you can definitely also reach out to Reagan on the website, the Fifth Avenue Capital, 5THAAVC.com website. So you can reach out if you have any questions or if you're interested in doing a project or finding out about exit strategies. Reagan's amazing at that, at all those things. So, but did you have anything else you wanted to share before we go? No?
no, just all I was saying is if you're watching this, it's the biggest shopping day of the year. And
Yes.
let's just take time to think, do we really need a lot of this stuff? Do we really need it just because it's on sale? And again, I'm a minimalist, and I know some people say, really? I see that you dress nice. Yeah, because everything that I own is my favorite. So I'm not that type of person that owns umpteen pair of jeans and say, yeah, but I only have one that I like that then only have one. I used to be that way with khaki pants. I only wore one, but I used to have five. I now own one. You only need one. White shirts, I actually only need one. And when you're done with it, you throw it away and you get another one. So let's
It has
think about
holes.
maybe being a minimalist. It'll save you more time. And if you ever decide to move, it'll definitely save you time.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think you've mentioned it before, like the storage unit philosophy of everyone, having so much that they need storage units. It's just, we don't need that many things, but I love the idea of just being more strategic, more focused in what we're doing, if it's our time or it's items that we're buying, because 25% off is still 75% on.
Right. Yeah. Still
it's
spending money.
it's
Very
still
well said.
saving money, but it's still spending money. So I hope you all have a wonderful holiday, though. Very thankful that you're here watching us, and that you've taken the time to do that. And feel free to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show or share it out. And we'll see you all next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.